Kingston College and Edwin Allen reigned supreme at the annual Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships at the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica last week. KC reclaimed the boys' title, snapping Calabar's 7-year win streak. In terms of the point standings, they finished atop the pile, 395.5. Calabar, a distance back in second, 313. JC, 232.5. St. Jago, 106.5. Stets, 90, the top 5. The top 10 completed in order. Wolmer's, Petersfield, very good showing from them. Belfield also commendable with their 40 points. Edwin Allen, 39, and Racees, very, very good with their 35 points for 10th place. On the girls' side, Edwin Allen secured their 6th straight title after amassing 291 points, finishing ahead of Heidel, Homo Technical, St. Jago, and Racees, the top 5. Immaculate was the best of the corporate area schools with 81. Excelsior, right behind them with 80. Vere, Spaldings, and St. Catherine rounding out the top 10. Now, KC's victory gave them their 32nd title as they burnished their reputation as the winningest school in boys' champs history. Calabar, they are next with 28 titles. JC third with 21 titles. The KC coach, Leaford Grant, joins us in studio. Welcome, coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, it was a huge mission. Unlike many other schools, maybe the Calabar boys will have something to say about that, but unlike many other schools, the pressure on a Kingston College track and field coach at Champs Time and his staff is huge. It can affect some people. Some people can make bad decisions under the pressure, but you and your team really focused on the task at hand, and you got your just reward, you'd say, from the weekend.
Yes, I would say when I speak about pressure, that depends on how you look at the sport, because we love the sport of track and field. And once you love the sport, you kind of leave the pressures behind you, the naysayers or sometimes try to zone out even the media,
yes,
to relieve that pressure. The old boys were very supportive this year. The principal is very supportive. And the main stairs at KC, who is involved with track and field, are very supportive. So the pressure is not as great as you might think.
Yeah, we saw the results from Tuesday to Saturday, the result of the hard work and planning that had gone into the season. Give us some insight into the foundations on which that victory was built.
Well, our preparations this year started as early as July. We realized that we were weak in certain areas. So we had to start early. If you notice, last year we never scored a lot of points in the hurdles or some of the technical events. Mm-hmm. So we started early to start preparing our boys to deal with those technical events. During the season, we would have also looked at how best we could score a maximum amount of points in each of these events. So the preparation over the period, I'd say about 8 months. And this is where it got us as 2019 champions.
In every election, and we have a by-election coming up in Eastern Portland in Jamaica, every election you have what each candidate calls a canvas. You know what I'm talking about, where you go around and you do your projections and you say, well, this is what I'm likely to get in terms of support, percentage of support at the close of ballots. You would have done your projection going into champs. Mm-hmm. You ended up with a record points tally. Mm-hmm. Was your canvas showing you that you would have scored as highly as you did?
No, some of the boys stepped up their game on the day of champs. It is expected that with some outstanding performances like Wayne Pinnock in the long jump, as we realize the days goes by in champs, each day give us a next special performance. So the boys would have used that as motivation to step up their performance. We actually scored ourselves on or about 370 points. Yeah, so we were looking in that region of scoring that amount of points based on our calculations that we did. The boys obviously stepped up in some area, and I was even surprised to know that we were scoring the most points ever at a championship in the history of championships.
So 25.5 more points than you had bargained for,
right,
at the minimum. All right. Take me from Friday night now. You went, well, not even Friday night, Friday afternoon when the 100 meters were being contested across classes. And at that point, you were looking at the schedule from there on in. Did you know at that point that if all went well, as it had been from Tuesday, that you would go near or break the champs points tally record?
as coaches, we don't worry about points. Friday night at Champs, we were more interested in getting people in finals and getting two persons in each final. So we are not really worried about the points. We know that once we execute, the points will add up. So the whole idea after Friday night is to ensure that we got enough finalists come on Saturday to execute. And once we execute, we know the points would have added up.
Mm-hmm. You spoke about some areas of the squad that you thought was a bit weak going in from last year, July. Mm-hmm. You spoke about Wayne Pinnock and the long jump. Was the field events those areas that you had earmarked primarily as weak events generally for Kingston College that you looked to fill the gaps in? Yeah. And was it a surprise that on Friday you had the lead, considering most of those events would have been in the early stretch?
No, remember, I think the long jump finals for Class 1 boys, and I think that's on the Tuesday.
Yeah, very early.
That's on the Tuesday, right. So when you look at those finals, we thought they were strong areas for us.
It was actually on Wednesday. It was on day 2.
Right,
yeah,
one of those early days.
Yeah, but day 2, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. So we believe that we would have exploited those avenues, the long jump Class 1 boys, and we had a very good long jumper in Class 2. Mm-hmm. So we knew that we would have scored points on those days. The idea first, they must have built up all the possible points, and hopefully on Saturday we'll have more people in the finals than them, and then we will ensure that we would have a wonderful Saturday by building up enough points over between Tuesday. On Friday night we will go in the lead on Saturday, and then Saturday will speak for itself, because normally in a Saturday KC normally performs well. So
what were those events then that you would not have earmarked as victories for you and you surpassed expectations? Hence the extra 25.5 points, as you would have said in the end. Which are those events that you thought you were weaker in but you excelled?
Triple jump Class 1. We know that JC had 2. I think they are national representatives. Our boy was not slated to win that event, but he stepped up big time.
Right.
And he won that event. Our second string, Shakwan, he stepped up also. I think we came first and third. So those were big points, which would have added up to the massive 395 points.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, Lee, the thing is this: dealing with athletes at various stages of their career, the difficulty for a coach is to deliver that athlete cherry ripe to the event, to the competition, because a lot of things can go in training. The athlete can be excelling, but it's about managing that to ensure that when the championship is on the line, when the big event is there, the athlete hits their peak. Mm-hmm. A lot of schools coming into Champs, their best athletes, for whatever reason, did not perform to their best. But as you've said, the ones you expected to deliver big performances, they did deliver. And then some others who you may have expected something middling from, they gave you something fantastic. How did you and your coaching staff manage to prepare a whole group of boys, a whole army to go into a championship where almost everybody to a man delivered an optimum performance?
Congrats to the coaching staff. I want to say big up the coaching staff.
You know, I keep saying staff, it's not you alone.
Yeah,
so I'm acknowledging the group effort.
We have very experienced coaches. They have been doing this for quite a long time, and they have more autonomy over their charges this year. So each coach in each coaching discipline would have been there before. They would have known exactly what to do to get their athlete peak at the right time. So we were not too worried about that. We are sprint coaches, jumps coaches, and all the different disciplines, and they are very experienced. Mm-hmm. So that is how we get them to peak at the right time. They know what to do to get them to peak at the right time.
You speak about the noise from well, I'm not going to call the old boys noise because they're a critical part of the family, but the noise from the media and the noise from the fans and everything else. Mm-hmm. I'm keen to understand what motivational technique was applied this year, given that the KC fans will always talk and always expect the boys to deliver victory. Mm-hmm. The school population will expect as well. The media will be talking. Mm-hmm. But within all of that, you have to manage expectations and keep youngsters focused. Mm-hmm. How do you go about applying that technique?
It is very difficult. But what we try to do is explain to the boys that the whole social media thing can be more detrimental to them by listening to what persons who are not really experienced and know what is happening with track and field. We try and explain to them to keep away from the old social media. You will hear people pass some comments and it will affect the boys mentally. And if we try our best to explain to them to keep away from that. In terms of motivations, we have one-on-ones with them. Each coach from each discipline would have sit down with their boys, would have explained to them their expectations. And if they allow things on social media or on the media, so to speak, and they listen to these things, then they'll get confused and they probably can't perform up to their best. So we try to look at things by being like a father figure to them, explain to them on a daily basis what is expected, where kids have not delivered champs for the last 10 years. So we knew we had a special team, we had a special set of boys. These boys are really special this year. They came to work, they listened to us, they followed the instruction of the coaches, and now we are happy to say that we are champions 2019.
Of course.
Yeah.
Know that these youngsters have achieved this. So you've won the championship and so on. What's in the pipeline now? There is a World Championships coming up as well. Will some of these athletes be looking to be involved in the national trials? What happens for these athletes from now? Apart from school, of course.
Yeah, they are youngsters, right? So our first thing is that we're going to look at the character trials this weekend. We try and place as much people as possible to represent Jamaica in the character. Apart the world championship, you say the world champion, the only person that we see right now probably Wayne.
Yes.
Wayne might be coming to
for the national trials.
For the national trials and see what we can do there. But you know, we have a philosophy not to force our young athletes to do things that might hurt them in the long run. So we'll probably look at the character. I don't know if there's any other junior games. We'll encourage that, but that's our main focus.
Leaford, clearly, mission accomplished for 2019. The true mark years from now of the success of a program is one that delivers multiple titles. Of course, we're not looking too far down the road, but clearly you would have, I'm assuming, be reading from a playbook or executing a master plan that is crafted to deliver more than one title. Am I correct? Is it that 2019 is the first phase in a plan to win this thing for the next 5 years, the next 7 years, run up another sequence?
I was on another interview, and I'm being frank. I am not, like the rest of coaches, going to prophesy what is going to happen in the future. Every year is a different year. Every year you have to plan and strategize around the opponent that you're currently facing. Yes, we would have had some plans to move from 1 to 2 to 3 years going forward, but we are not going to say that we will have to win. When next year comes, that is 2020, we will plan for next year. We know that we have ammunition to deliver class 2 and 3 to deliver the champs for us over next year, but we will see how that goes. 2020.
And finally, in terms of your retained quality, those boys who've done well this year, who you expect to return for 2020, is it a percentage? Are you retaining what, 80% of your squad, 85%? Wow.
Amazingly, we are going to retain about 90% of our boys.
That's
man.
That's good.
Well, we have boys at KC. We don't encourage boys to stay at school if they are going off to universities and all of that. We believe that it's education first. Sports is just an extracurricular activity in the school. So that's a decision between the parent and the boy himself, whether or not that boy wants to remain in school. Having said that, the boys that are going to leave this year, it's not a lot of boys.
A handful.
It's a handful of boys. So we think we have the firepower to deal with challenges.
Reasonably young squad.
Well, Coach, congratulations to you. It's long overdue. Many track and field fans don't like KC, but many do, and some people who can't find any of the KC campuses go mad for the purple and white. That's how much they love it, and they're still. I saw a woman at the tax office this morning at Constant Spring. Her hair was purple and white. She had on a custom tracksuit, Casey, with her name in the back. I'm wondering where she got it. Her tights was purple and white, and she had on a purple and white pair of shoes. She was walking around. Obviously, she worked there, and everybody was smiling. That's what Casey means to many people. And those of you who are crying, hush. Thank you very much, Coach.
And thank you very much, and thanks your viewers and all.
Of course, and your coaching staff. How many members of your coaching staff does it work?
On staff, coach around, let's say about 10 people.
About 10.
2 per each discipline.
Excellent. 10 people who did a magnificent job guiding the school to yet another boys champs title. We take a break here on The Zone. Back with more.